starting the day once again. So today I'm going to take this session on 4 of the learning outcome. The first one is speed, and the second one is velocity, and the third one is average speed, and the fourth one is average velocity. So we shall begin with the speed. Yes, so till now we were talking about the motion. So this chapter is all about the motion, right? Which is why our name of the chapter is motion. Now we know that whenever there is a motion, there are some sort of like distance covering up. So whenever we are thinking about the speed, two things, kind of physical quantity that comes to our mind. The number one is distance, and number two is time. Okay, so we have our school athletic days, right? During that we have students running a 100-meter race. Let's suppose, imagine this is 100-meter race. 100-meter race. Now over here there is a student who is now going to run the 100-meter race. Now, in order to complete this 100-meter race, the student has to somehow finish this 100 meter. That is the distance here. In that case, I have given you the distance here. Now, you must have seen that at the end point of the race, there are some teachers who are also taking some sort of like stopwatch with them to see how much time they are taking, right? So, let's say this is the guy here. This guy, he finishes the race in a time interval of 10 seconds. 10 seconds, that is the time. Now, that is our topic today, that we have to talk about speed. Now, what is this? At what speed that particular student has completed this 100-meter race? So, normally, how we used to define speed here? Speed. We used to define speed as the distance covered by an object. That object in this example could be the student. The distance traveled by an object in a given interval of time is referred to as speed. Understand? So now here, distance traveled in a given interval of time. Given interval of time. So now in that case here, what is the distance? Distance is, I'm going to write here, speed is equal to distance. This is how we write the formula. Distance traveled, time. This is time. So now, how much is the distance he is covering from this end to that end? It is 100 meter. 100 meter. Understand? And in how many seconds? In 10 seconds. That means 10 here. Understand? So we can somehow cancel it, or 10 is 100, or 0 cancel it. You will get answer as 10. Understand? So this is meter, 100 meter, and this is 10 seconds, which is why I'm going to write 10 meter per second. This is the unit of the speed. Now, what was the speed of that person here, student? He is running at a speed of 10 meter per second. That means in 1 second, he is covering 10 meter. This is how we calculate speed. In short, distance traveled in a given interval of time. So, the fastest animal in the world right now, we used to consider cheetah, right? Let's suppose, imagine, okay, cheetah is running at a speed of, let's say, 30 meter per second. In 1 second, he is covering like 30 meter. I don't know the exact speed of the cheetah, right? But we somehow know that cheetah is the fastest animal. So cheetah is covering a speed of like 30 meter per second. So we came to know the speed of the cheetah. But if I ask you in which direction cheetah is running, we don't have any kind of idea in that statement here. So that is why whenever we are talking about speed, we never have any kind of idea about the direction. For example, okay, Mr. Dundup is running at a speed of 10 meters per second. That's it. No direction here. So speed is generally it only shows the magnitude, but it never shows the direction. That is why speed belongs to scalar quantity. It belongs to scalar quantity. Understand? So now this is about the speed. Now there are many ways by which you can measure the speed. For example, you can measure the speed in meter per second, right? Okay, so you can measure the speed in meter per second. You can measure the speed in kilometer per hour. You can measure the speed in miles per hour. So, according to the person itself, depending upon the person itself, there are many ways by which people are going to take the values in the form of meter per second, kilometer per hour, miles per hour. So, in order to avoid such kind of confusion, because whenever we are going to a particular kind of uniform answer, we need the answer in the form of, let's say, if we are giving an exam, if our answer is like 24 meter per second. Now this 24 meter per second, if I convert that into kilometer, this value will change into something else. And this will change over here. So in order to avoid such kind of confusion among us, the standard international unit of this speed is meter per second. This is the unit which we are going to take. Understand? So meter per second is the SI unit of the speed. This is the one, meter per second. Understand? Now the second one here, that is velocity. Velocity is nothing. Velocity is speed with direction. Whenever there is a speed, in that speed, if I shows you the direction, we call this kind of speed as velocity. For example, Tenzin is running with a velocity of 10 meters per second towards north. So over here, Tenzin is running in north direction, and he is also having a magnitude of 10 meters per second. So let's say here, this is a north. Tenzin is running at a velocity of 10 meters per second towards the north. Now this is the velocity, because in that case here, I am showing you a direction also, and I am showing you a magnitude also. So those kind of speed where we can see both direction and magnitude, we call this kind of like speed as velocity, and this velocity, it belongs to vector quantity. We have discussed before, vector quantity. Vector quantity, as I have defined already, vector quantity are those physical quantity where you can see both magnitude and direction. Is that clear? So once again, since velocity is a type of speed, which is why the unit of the velocity is once again meter per second. Meter per second. Is that clear? Which you can write in meter per second. Is that clear? Okay. Yes. So now, when we talk about velocity, there are two important things which you should keep in your mind. For example, when we talk about displacement, we talked about initial position and the final position. Now, similarly, in the case of velocity also, right, there is a two thing here that is very important for you to keep in your mind. Initial velocity and final velocity. Final velocity. Generally, this initial velocity is being symbolized by letter U. Final velocity is symbolized by letter V. Is that clear? For example, I am starting, okay, let's say, normally a train is starting from a railway station with a velocity of train starting from a railway station. Let's say this is the railway station here. Railway station. A train is starting from a railway station with a velocity of 20 meters per second towards north. Now this is the train. Let's say this is the train. I have given you only one velocity here, 20 meters per second, right? Now, when you are asked to identify which one is initial velocity and which one is final velocity, it's important for you to think carefully and read the question carefully. For example here, a train is starting from a railway station. At the railway station, the train is at rest. Because as I had mentioned, that a train is starting means it is going to start now, it's starting now. But before starting, it is at rest. So there are two kinds of velocity, that is 0 meter per second at the railway station, and now it's moving at 20 meters per second. So this is initial velocity, that is the starting velocity. So your u is 0 meter per second, whereas your v is 20 meter per second. This is how you're going to identify. For example, let me just give an example of myself. I am running at a velocity of 20 meters per second. Suddenly I fall down. I fell down on the ground. So now you can say that there is a guy who is running with a velocity of 20 meters per second. And suddenly he fell down, right? He fell down. And that too in this direction here, that kind of direction here. Now, when this person was on the ground, he's not going to move because he is at a stationary position. He's not going to move. Now over here, this is 0 meter per second. And over here, this guy is moving at 10 meters per second. So now in this case, the initial velocity, that is, his starting velocity is u here. That is, u is 10 meters per second. Now the final velocity v is 0 meters per second. Understand? Or else we can also give an example like a dog is moving with a velocity of 10 meters per second, suddenly saw a bomb and he ran with another velocity of 20 meters per second. Now that 10 meters per second is the u and the 20 meters per second is the v, that is the final velocity. Is that clear? Okay. Fine. So we are going to talk about average speed. Average speed and average velocity. Fine. So now there is a shop. There is a shop. This is a shop where you get candies and all of this. And there is Tashi here. Tashi. Now Tashi has to reach this shop. To reach this shop, Tashi has to travel first in that way here and through it in this way here. This is the route. This is the pathway. Is that clear? Now when he is traveling in this way, first he is covering 10 meters, then he is covering 5 meters in a time interval of, let's say, 4 seconds. Overall time, 4 seconds. Understand? Now, if I was asked to find the average speed here, the average speed means you have to total up the distance. Look at the Tashi here. He traveled from here to there. That is how much? 10 meters. That is 10 plus again in this direction. How much? 5. Right? So 10 plus 5 is how much? 15. Divided by how much is the total time? Is 4. So 15 divided by 4, where you will get some sort of values. Right? Okay. Now I will try to make this more simple here. 10 by changing 6 here. Understand? So 10 upon 6, how much we are getting? 16. 4 4s are 16. So average speed is 4 meters per second. So he was moving at an average speed of 4 meters per second. In short, what is average speed? Average speed is total distance, the ratio of total distance to the total time is referred to as average speed here. Total distance to the total time here. Now speaking over here, average velocity. In the case of average velocity, we are not concerned that does she choose from here to there or whichever way. We are not concerned about that, but we are more concerned about this position here, that is the initial position, and this is final position, and the shortest distance between these two. Let's suppose, imagine this is 8 meters. Okay, so now what is the displacement over here? That is 8 meters, right? Displacement is 8 meters in a time interval of, let's say, 2 seconds. 2, that is 4 meters per second. 2 1 2 2 4 is 8. 4 meters per second. So now what is average velocity? Average velocity means we are not concerned about all this distance here, but we are more concerned about this displacement divided by the total time is referred to as average velocity. So I will write here average velocity is the ratio of displacement to the total time. Average velocity ratio total displacement to the total time. Did you understand? So in the case of average speed and average velocity, the concept is something like that. Right? So thank you very much. So I'm going to just summarize all of this in Tibetan language here. The speed and velocity, average speed, average velocity can change. The speed line is going to number the Chalaji distant tarn wa Gamtar distant Kazuka Kazuna. What is speed law? Speed linkage Michi Mazuki Pena. Suppose imagine 50 meters the second year convert children. Second year 50 meters Yuguduna, and second china 50 meters Yuguduna. Ta Kiran speed second 50 meters the 10 second get divide down Kiran evaluation speed that's more. The velocity and case velocity keep velocity speed the direction in each velocity level. But the velocity the speed near speed the scalar quantity in velocity in vector quantity in average speed, the average velocity, and the average speed, the total distance divided by total time and average speed is average velocity in case of show once we that is initial position and final position. What do you mean shortest distance? Shortest distance they consider 8 meters. They call 2 seconds of cover chit use once again average velocity the displacement number total time now is over. So thank you. Thank you.